Hello, I am Chris from Airwindows, and today is actually something a little bit different because I haven't played a game in 9 months. It is Thanksgiving, so I thought what I'd do is spend some time derping around in Minecraft and just hanging out. I can't guarantee that I won't talk about work stuff. I might. But the main purpose here is not doing anything especially important. And I'm going to be doing this not doing anything especially important on my little Minecraft server, which is actually publicly accessible for those who know where it is. I was thinking I would just sort of go and build something. This being stuff I built, obviously, more than 9 months ago, because this would be a elaborate little kind of spaceship that I made, hey Jonathan, quite some time ago. So I'm thinking about maybe doing something else. Now this is actually inside. Oh, looks like I have another thing. So one of the things about the system I'm currently using is this is the old 1.12 build using a mod called Snowball Madness. And when I call it Snowball Madness, I ain't fooling. So a lot of this is creative stuff that's been built. But you might notice that, let's see what's going on around here. We've got these snowballs and stuff. It's a bunch of various things. Actually, that might be a handy kind of light. But Snowball Madness is not normal Minecraft. So it's kind of easier in a lot of ways. Like, see all of those torches there? Well, I could add a block of glowstone there in a similar way, because Snowball Madness sort of lets you just kind of build stuff. It's like creative mode, only not. There have been other people playing here, but that, again, I haven't played a game for 9 months, so anybody who was playing here lost interest because they were looking to play this old version of modded Minecraft with me, and when I wasn't there, well, that kind of, I don't really do that, so that's kind of what happened there. If you do log on here, oh look, somebody has been here, because somebody has fired a particular kind of snowball, like literally right here. It is a pick style snowball that digs a giant hole with a flat floor. But if you spawn, you show up basically here. And all of this stuff is different kinds of assistance that you'd have. Ooh, I might want to build things with mossy stone, so I'll take some of that. And then these colored ones are like helpful gear and stuff. If you get an arrow and you have snowballs, you can fire the arrow using the snowballs. It has actually visibly shown as shooting off to the side there, but it will actually shoot things directly in the crosshairs. And that's way powerfuler than pretty much any actual weapon that you might have. And we've just generated a bunch of stuff. Should make more horse armor. You also can generate horses, and if you generate horses using the Snowball Madness thing, you wind up with these Mega Ultra Super Horses. And the Mega Ultra Super Horses are incredibly fast. And so is my ability to fly here. And here is some more weird Snowball Madness stuff. All of these sort of mega builds. Oh, it's not only just being into Minecraft. Me and the right-winger brother that I don't really talk to anymore built these mods, in that he figured out how to make Minecraft mods at all, and I kind of ran with the ideas in the way that I build plugins and did all of this stuff. So it was like, I don't know how to make a Minecraft mod that does anything, but when you do show me how to make the Minecraft mod, I can go, okay, let's make mods that build spheres around a particular space, and let's now make those, with the wall thickness of this much, and so on and so forth. I'm going to collect a few stone bricks because I thought maybe I would build a stone brick thing. I've actually got an elytra, so I can fly, including with this. And I can zoop into this area, but I can also ready myself for random mobs. This is most definitely not the new the new headphone mix plugin. Although that's one of the ones I could drop, like this coming weekend. I had promised somebody that I would drop the cow party. I had promised that I would drop the Stonefire comp. That's the new compressor that you got fairly recently, but with a multiband version slightly stripped down so it's more usable, with Stonefire, which is another get used to using console X. So yeah, if in Snowball Madness, if you have a handy dandy arrow, you can pretty much take on anything that will show up in normal spawns, which is not the same thing as the Snowball Madness style spawns. Those are slightly different. Like, I'm a high enough level where if I make the Snowball Madness style spawns, they're extremely intimidating. Whereas these guys, not so much at my current power level. Although now that I have the arrow loaded up, I don't have the flying loaded up. Meaning that if I fall from a great height, it will actually hurt me now, whereas before I would get away with it. Oh. There's your basic skelly. And I'm probably far enough away from monsters to be able to pass the night. Again, this is this weird little hybrid between normal Minecraft and creative mode or modded or whatever. Jonathan mentions that some of my stuff could be available on Isla Instruments SP1200 clone. Cool. Does that mean that they gave credit? Because that's basically the rules I have for that. There's not all that much I can do about it, even if they didn't. But I'm curious if they did. And yeah, I am thinking about maybe going to a place and making a little house. Oh. I think I heard a baddie. That sounded like a zombie. I'm also going to finish drinking the cup of coffee I've got here. And probably I need to stoke the fire periodically. That's one thing that I'm used to doing on long streams, which I don't really do anymore, that might come into focus once more. Oh, I could also show you the some bits of this are mod farm. Like that thing is a mob farm. That thing is not. The hillside that is all torches is not a mob farm. This is a horse, which may or may not be amazing. Seems to be actually sitting there, so I've got an assortment of horses kicking around here. The weird thing about that one was that it didn't move, but this is called 300. See what I said about horses being amazing? If I can click on this fellow, we've got these ultra horses and a little racetrack that is too small to deal with a horse this amazing, because the horse is simply too fast. A normal horse you could use this racetrack, but this one, So I will hop off of them. Probably that means that is a horse that was created by somebody who was level 300, because the speed they go is, oh goodness no. The speed they go is based on what your level is. Like my level is 43. And so that's basically so fast that you can't even, it's not a usable horse. It'll just hurt itself if you try to go anywhere with it. But it's another Snowball Madness thing. So a thing I was thinking about doing, this is a little card that I made clearly like a year ago or 9 months ago, which 9 months was the last time I did this. At least that's what it said when I logged back on. And I'd written down a bunch of little locations. Now, I don't know if I actually have, like I can turn this on so I can see where I am. And I could fly to a place. Right now, what I've got here I can create frightening zombies. Zombies are strong, but not incredibly fast. If I make a frightening zombie out here and then switch to the arrow, I probably can kill it. But it will come for me wearing my clothes and some armor. And it would be a very tough zombie. If I used a skeleton... Oh, also it's armed with whatever I have in the first slot, which means if I have like a stack of moss stone, it'll carry a stack of moss stone and try to hit me with a stack of moss stone, which is not the most effective way of killing somebody, but then when you kill it, it'll drop that. So this is the grinding for additional stuff mechanism. Let's see whether this, which is apparently mine, hasn't been renamed, is super amazing or amazing without being impossibly amazing. So that's pretty cool. I'm tempted to ride this guy off to some of the places that I could go, but it would be it goes faster than chunks can load. Oh, Ben. Well, you're quite welcome. I am most likely not doing coding today. It's Thanksgiving. I'm supposed to take a day off every now and then. Once a year seems legit. And again, I can look up this little list of points that are reachable. And by that, what I mean is the XYZ coordinates. Or something where I can use this technique to sort of fly up in the air. I can get more elytras too, so. And then go in a direction. So what direction am I going? I am going -z. And what my stuff currently says is if I go to positive x and -z, I get to what's called CJ arcology. It's something that I built probably about a year ago. Ooh, well, thank you, Ben. It says, let's celebrate their first super on a live stream up. Thank you. That's the degree of celebration I'm willing to do. We can all celebrate Thanksgiving together. I was contemplating making my tacos because it's tacos for dinner today and eating them on stream, although I don't think I'm going to do that. Jonathan, one of the things that Bacon Paul did in working on that kind of stuff was make it more possible for people to load all the plugins. And so they may well have done that. That'd be cool. That's what open sourcing all of this stuff is for. So let's see. If I'm going to go to positive x and negative y, it's going to be, and it says 1K, so I need to go to roughly 1,000 by 1,000. When I do that, which is not that far away, it's a ways away, but it's not that far away, I should be able to observe a giant mega build. Let's see whether I observe my giant mega build. Ta-da! So, Ben, geez, don't knock yourself out too hard, man. I'm just doing what I do. I'm happy every time people are okay enough that they are able to do things like that, because I often have to chide folks who are not actually doing all that well to not run around giving me stuff. Like, if you are actually hurting and in need, please don't give me things. But those who are doing okay, like fairly recently, I was able to, it's a bit of a funny story, actually. I do recovery stuff, so I hang around with people who are trying to get clean and sober, because that has described me for many years now. And there's this guy who's fairly new to all of that and was kind of in a halfway house and like homeless and struggling. I gave him an old jacket of mine, and the next thing I saw him, like, he didn't actually have it. I don't know what happened to it. But he had another jacket, so it's like, well, maybe he swapped the jacket I gave him for a newer one, which, if that's the case, cool beans. Okay. Got some stuff collected here, including a gibberish book. Okay. So this is one of the things that I've been doing, is using some of these techniques. This particular technique has to do with making a giant glass dome. And that's more the snowball wise. Oh, well, you are completely welcome, and I thank you. I will buy tacos with that. Tacos for Christmas, Thanksgiving dinner. So yeah, this particular build was very much me working out exactly how to make a giant glass megadome and just kind of clean out the middle of it so that it was this rather chill, meadowed space in the middle of the forest. It started out as a forest, and then I changed it. Oh, well, I will see you later, Ben. Thank you again. And yeah, I'm happy you're able to use my plugins on commercial releases. It should work for everybody. Like I said, no exceptions. So I guess my next thing is to go through this little... Again, I made a bunch of weird stuff here, but I have another build. I wrote down on these sort of reference points what the environments were like. So I have one that is Woodsea satellite, and I believe that is -1kx and 0y. And I'm going to go check in on that again. Nothing's going to have happened to it, because this server has literally just sat there for a literal year. And people who pay close enough attention to my streams and know about this would actually be able to log on. This is like actually available. But it's fine that nobody has. I'm just saying this is on a old Linux laptop that the right-winger brother actually gave me once because he was giving away hand-me-down gear. He had a tendency of giving away hand-me-down gear sort of in order to maintain family ties, knowing that some of his beliefs and things that he was doing with his life weren't going to fly for people. And that's very human, I think. It's kind of sad, but it's a very human thing. I was never able to actually put it to use, but I was able to purpose it into being a Minecraft server, and I was able to like put it in my basement, connect it to the internet, and just have it be there. So one of the things, back in the day, I had other friends who, let's see, where are we? I'm going to try to find my way to the other build. And this would be it. It's another giant glass sphere. the giantness of these particular glass spheres is definitely kind of intimidating. The way you build them is by using the snowball mechanism, but then by using a particular kind of thing. You can use helmets and I think pants. The helmet or the pant over a snowball with a I hear a monster. With a build block on top of that, and then it will go and build whatever the thing is that you had. It'll build a giant sphere of whatever that is. So I've tended to use glass for these just so that it would be manageable to build with. This is rather dark though, and I'm being hunted by skeletons. Maybe I can... I may or may not be able to find where they are. I don't think I can see, so what I'll do is just climb. Yeah, back in the day I was doing a running Minecraft servers, and I didn't have the laptop at the time, and so I was paying by the month to... Oh. Sir? You're not welcome. I was paying for commercial servers and had a group of friends through a fandom hobby that I had, and ended up losing that group of friends because they were some of the first people to get sucked into the alt-right, as it were. And that ended up going kind of weird. Pretty much, if you have a group of friends and they make jokes about throwing you out of helicopters to your death, they don't end up being very good friends. It's not really funny when they're talking about you. And I'm glad they never got to throw me out of a helicopter to my death. I think that's not good behavior. Clancy, you can talk to me about that. Thing is, it depends, because the way I deal with that is not the most normal way. So that's fine, but it means that I may or may not be able to help you with it. Like my technique for avoiding aliasing. Boop. So this is as far as I got with this, which I now can't get inside the... I think I have Googled myself. Now I'm trapped here. Only not, because I can just fly up. I have various technologies for doing things like this. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of like no ground to give as far as the trans people thing is concerned, because I grew up with a kid who is now a man that I know, and was even back in the day, but, you know, AFAB, and we could tell even back then. Like this guy who was really into the Who and was pugnacious and maybe was like growing the hints of a little beard, and it's like, no, we knew what that guy was. There just wasn't anything he could do about it. I ended up being able to give him like my man's shirts after he, you know, had top surgery. And I've always been kind of proud of that I was able to do that. So yeah, I do not have... Oh, watch this. I thought I was going to be able to scooch all the way down to the ground very suddenly, but that didn't turn out to be the case. Go figure. Boop. Clancy, Clancy, you might as well just ask me now. Because, again, I can't always access messages on Patreon. Sometimes I can, but there have been times when I couldn't. And yeah, speaking of incels, in many ways, that also describes me. I am, like, straight and attracted to femme-coded people, but it doesn't necessarily mean I can do anything about that other than, you know, go and wank periodically. Hi. These guys are spawning from like dark places, which is tiresome. That's one of the things about building an environment like this, is I can sort of end up accidentally just building a useless place. So let's go to another place. Because again, those are things that I've built, but I was thinking about just sort of derping around building something today that's less grand. And I thought I could build a sort of castle-y thing out of stone brick. So that might be a fun thing. And I'm contemplating going and finding a, let's see. If I go to 0x and minus 2kz, I'm also going to need to put another log in my wood stove. I have a location that is called Snowy Tundra, and maybe that'll be a neat thing to make. Because I'm pretty sure that is something I haven't built anything at. So we will build a thing here. Go straight down. It is actually nighttime, so I should probably try to sleep, but I need to land first before I can sleep. And in order to do that, the ground has to spawn in. Ground, hello. Hello, ground. There it is. And that's a bunch of bad guys. That thing is not friendly to me right now. And here is a bed. Oh, and here is a creeper. Let's see whether I can empty this area. That's not going to count as emptying the area. That's a lot of stuff spawning around me. Ooh, chainmail pants. They're probably going to be there when I wake up, but I will at least have made it beat day. And the dude, and oh, snow hares. And I have been here enough to make a, yeah, I mean, don't worry about the fact that I'm playing. It's been 9 months since I played this game. Clearly, I'm not terribly interested. Nothing can really happen here that I'm going to find upsetting, because it just kind of sits there. So, yeah. Oh, look, I have a little cave. this might be a place where I could let's see what's around this pillar, if anything. Hey, Grens, did manage to make it. And here is a little plateau. So let's start by I don't know, maybe your basic Minecraft things? I'll tell you what, before I do that, give me a second. I need to throw another log in my fire. It may be only 2 o'clock in the afternoon, but it's relatively cold at the moment, so I will be half a moment. Oh, I have a better idea. Let me grab the other camera. We got putting a log on the fire cam. Just like that there. Oh, that's actually not the thing I want to do. Hang on. I'm confused. I don't know what to do. Got there. Good enough. Hey, putting the log on the fire cam now. Why didn't I think of this before? We could do a whole strip of just hanging out doing this, or something much like it. A couple of logs. Still got water in the kettle. Oh, and this is the damper. You flip on the damper and it starts putting the fire through the catalyst, which is a good thing to have. Having the catalyst means that it burns more efficiently. Not only does it give you better heat for the amount of fire that it is, but it'll also pollute less. So that's neat. Yep. Can definitely have the fire cam going some of the time. Again, it's like, why am I even playing Minecraft? I could just do a stream. Oh, except for if I'm sitting like right by there, I can't see chat very easily. And John Dobb Superfan from a ways back, I am indeed running this on the Mac, as you can not really see very well, because I have, it is running a thing called Lunar Client, where they're going to try to sell you like skins and props and things. But it's a Mac savvy Minecraft client. So yeah, I was trying to answer questions about aliasing and laser sounds. And that's definitely one of the challenges, is if you're starting to run stuff that's really close to Nyquist and distorting things like that, you might end up producing aliasing effects. Now, if you're a Reaper user, you can oversample stuff in Reaper. But I don't really have, nor do I intend to build oversampling into everything, because it'll cost you as much as it gives you. It takes away the realism of the sound by overprocessing. So there's a balance to be struck. That said, if you're doing experimental sounds, you might very well just be like, nope, balance heck, I want to do this particular effect, in which case you would need to choose which plugins you use with intentionality so you were able to get the result that you want. Oh, bunny? Bunny fell down. So yeah, it's fine to be using plugins for stuff, but you might want to think about what things you're using. Here, I'm gonna fly around in this vicinity, see if I can find anything cool. Oh, except for I can't actually see in that direction because it's not loading fast enough. So let's fly around in the direction where I can see what's around. Here's an area with logging. I can get some useful wood here. The rockets built into this, I am at such a high level that the rockets are also overpowerful. But I can go boop and then swerve. Yeah, I'm not sure if this is actually as much use as I would have hoped, because flying around, I can't actually load anything enough to see it. So that's unfortunate. That said, I can sort of hop around. Oh. If I do that, stuff will load up. One of the things about this just being a laptop is that it's not the most powerful machine in the world, so it's possible that a commercial server would load stuff faster for me. But it doesn't matter, it's just kind of sitting here. Bunnies. I've got like Doom bunnies bouncing around and falling off cliffs. So yeah, the thing with the oversample, bear in mind a lot of the sounds that I design my plugins to get are not those kind of sound design sounds. All of my stuff is about being able to convince, ooh, look at this, is being able to convincingly produce deeper sounds got some iron there in case I want it at more of a distance. And when you're working on sound design that is high frequencies like 15 to 25K, whether or not you're at a high sample rate, all of that is extremely close-up sounds that don't necessarily go along with realism and having a realistic space that's presented in the way that first you hear in real life, but secondly that you hear in like the classic years of recorded music where people were all like, oh man, those Neve consoles and tape machines and that stuff sounds so great. Yeah, well, it's for a reason. So you may be designing sounds that only, like here is a thought. If you're making a laser sound, how far away do you want that to seem? Because you may very well have sounds with extremely high harmonics and a lot of stuff going on. You may be producing artificial things that are very interesting in their own right. Ooh, look, sheep. But that doesn't mean the sounds that you're producing are actually convincing to the human ear. You might end up being able to make stuff where you are indeed making a sound, but you might not understand, because modern mixing and sound production doesn't understand, that to the human animal it sounds like it is half an inch off of the surface of your eardrum. So if you're making laser sounds, also think in terms of, is this supposed to sound far away? And if the sound needs to sound like it's far away, you have different concerns. It's just bunny land over here. The wood that I had, I don't chop wood myself. I buy it from a place about 20 minutes away. They drive a truck over and dump it. It's a place called Tree Hugger Farms. It's in New Hampshire. And what I do is carry it myself. So I'm not chopping it or splitting it, but I am carrying it to the racks that it's in. I ought to come up with a way of having a different microphone available. But yeah. And I'm still kind of half thinking about where do I want to, like, I don't mind if I spent literally all day going, where shall I build a house? Because mostly this is just hanging out for a variety of reasons, including for people who are in America and celebrating Thanksgiving, but like me, have nobody to celebrate it with. And so I'll hang out with you, and we'll do that. If I did chop and carry, I would be iron. Well, maybe I'm already iron. Oh, bunny's falling. Okay, yo, go sleep, crappy plant, go sleep. If you gotta be up for work, that sounds like a good time to go to sleep. All I have to do is, assuming I don't want to start working, this is supposed to be a day of resting or something, so I see no reason I shouldn't honor that by derping around playing games and talking to my friends. I suppose if I get really ambitious or whatever, I could go and do a bunch of work instead. But nobody's actually asking for that. And if they were, that wouldn't necessarily be fair. I mean, above and beyond carrying firewood, I also have some snow shoveling to do, which I'm not dealing with just yet because we only got about a half a foot or so of snow to shovel. And I'm probably going to deal with that tomorrow once the snow has stopped falling. I always like it when I can do nice things, like, for instance, help neighbors do snow shoveling, but this is the first snow of the year, and I'm not dealing with that just yet. Oh, interesting. Little tiny river biome where it is not snowing. And it's in the middle of ice mountains. fact, I was just here. So I could make a house in the itty-bitty river biome. Oh, and there was another question that I did want to address about whether you should be going for AA rating. See, this relates to the recent song that I posted, Elvis Costello's Watching the Detectives, off of a vinyl record. And what I did was I doctored that heavily to make it a little more modern in approach, and in so doing, I did actually push it to, I think it got to a AA rating, but there were people who thought that it was more impactful, yes, what I did with it, but then also liked the original recording better, which in a way I like the original recording too. So getting to that AA rating is about having a lot of density and variety and all manner of stuff happening. It's just generally AA reading means you will be getting attention. It means that you have a lot going on, the stuff is loud, it is aggressive, it's communicative, perhaps even to the point of being kind of fatiguing. And you can have that if you want, but it's not a rule. You don't have to. And again, the thing about instrumentals is if you're getting extremely dark sounds, you might work on your arrangement and have brighter stuff happening as well. It's not a rule that you have to have dark sounds. Oop. It's a dark place to play in. Boop. Just because something is instrumental doesn't mean it can't have harmonics or like cymbals or tambourines or something else that's going to happen that will cause brighter sound. Plumpy asks, what are you using to code? Basically, I'm using Xcode. There's a couple of different versions that I use. The basic stuff I start with is Xcode in an old Snow Leopard Mac. And then I go beyond that and make Windows and Linux VSTs and stuff. And then I bring everything over to the modern computer, which is the one that's getting like 400 frames per second. Looking at the sky, which is not challenging. On Minecraft, which is not all that impressive, honestly, but Minecraft isn't really designed for this. And that's where I make the signed versions for Mac. Bear in mind, Hypersoft is a weird creature just because I think it's going to work and be useful, but I'm not going to swear that it's always going to be the thing that you want. Maybe it's just an unusual critter. And it remains to be seen how useful it is. It is permissible to make stuff be quieter, to make stuff not, oh, baby bunny, that's adorable. Does that have the pink eyes of a Vorpal bunny? Presumably not. I think there's such a thing as Vorpal bunnies, but I'm not sure that's actually a thing. Nope. I feel like Hypersoft is best used for making stuff just more like dirty and with that distorted quality that it gets. I'm also getting my butt lost, which I'm not sure that's a good idea. We've just got more of the same over here. Mind you, I don't have to be lost because I am right here. But yeah, bearing in mind how something like meter works, what I ended up using for newer versions of Jonathan Bellot, I would also point out that making black metal sound quote-unquote good is not correct. But then, in order to make something, you need to understand the rules by which it works and the purpose under which it's done. And I think I do a better job in some ways of some of that stuff. Like, Alex is using Hypersoft with the depth and brightness on 0. That is going to give you very few stages. And that's completely valid. That is a simpler form of using the speaking of simpler, I'm wandering around here trying to find a cool place, but that might not actually be, I might not want this location. So, what else might be good? One possibility I have is to go, well, here's another amusing one. I could go to -2k or -2k0, which will take me to, rather than snowy tundra, which I've looked at and found it was kind of boring, to mountain forest, or what I have called perfectly normal. I don't know what perfectly normal means, but maybe it's time to find out. And they will have these pillars of dirt to represent one of my cardinal points. So let's give that a shot. Go to the top of the pillar. And then fly using the elytra to, let's see, so -2k and -2k is a additional place, and I'm going to be flying up. I'm going to be falling out of the sky because it is connected. That's what I'm going to be doing. And that should have been a valid move. Yeah, so let's see now. Having a glance at the chat as well while I'm doing this, I will be going to -2000 to -2000 to see what that looks like. You know, keeping half an eye on fire cam there, because I would like it to stay warm. Definitely a challenge getting to my new location, so let's go on foot the rest of the way so that stuff can load in. Because I'm having this thing where I'm flying, but I can't see a damn thing. I also could produce more steak, probably. So we are hiking to what is called mountain forest, because it's a good enough thing to do. when I'm doing my yearly check-in on the Minecraft server and figuring out what to make. Honestly, sometimes you wonder whether maybe it would be fun to do like a Minecraft 1.6 or whatever. Just there's multiple possibilities. One of them is fire up a server with the very newest and be like, okay, let's do a random world with the very newest version and experience all of the new stuff. And the other one is, okay, let's fire up a server with the very oldest and do a real retro thing of we are playing with the Minecrafts and experiencing it the way that it did back when it was first invented, because I was around for some of the very earliest Minecrafts. I mean, I'm old, clearly. And I remember some of that very, very early stuff before any of this. And this is only 1.12, but I could go earlier than that. In fact, maybe that would be fun. It would be a little bit of work, but so what is the best console for electronic music? Well, I'm looking to try doing Console X for that, to be honest. That said, you don't have Console X just yet, but you will. And I am definitely thinking in those terms. Oh, look, there is my pillar. I am currently thinking about doing that thing of firing up a really antique version of Minecraft on the same server that this is using and just derping around doing that. Because if I gotta start all the way over and like make a simple house and stuff, there's no special reason not to do an incredibly primitive version. Okay, so here's the location of this cardinal point. I'm not all that excited by it, which is fine, because we can continue to fly elsewhere. Or fly elsewhere, I could walk. Let's try that. So perfectly normal is one of my cardinal points. It's at minus 2k 0. I'm at minus 1830 and minus 1919. So if I go this way, I can get to minus 2k eventually. Yep. Ooh, I'll tell you what I should do, though. Let's do a little vegan wizard food. Boop. Now there's 2. Now there's 4. Geometrical progression is the bomb. That one didn't drop anything, which is rude. That's 8. I do run the risk of spawning other zombies next to them, but we will live with it. That jerk didn't spawn anything. Hey, Forlux. Well, I'm currently just grinding some steaks using Airwindows Snowball Madness and the techniques that that uses. Because they are dropping stacks of whatever I have in the first slot. Or at least they're supposed to, and sometimes they don't. Because it's software, and software doesn't always obey you. There we go. But now I have a full stack and can sleep and move on my way. Yeah. So that is one possibility, is I cannot bother with this world. That, although the thing about it is, like, I built this world and then there were some people who came and played. They just lost interest when I stopped, because I always stop and then just start doing my work. But so let's see, what was I wanting to do? I was wanting to go actually this way. I'm going to totally cheat. I'm flying without even using an Elytra to get to the 2000, because I want, going to be more like this way. We're going to just straight up go to the spot. Or let's go nearly to the spot. Fall down. Boop. Wolves. Okay. And yeah, I will walk to the place that I called perfectly normal. I cannot imagine what awaits me there, but it's going to be something that is deeply normal. At minus 2000, 0. And we shall see what counts as perfectly normal. And maybe I'll even build a little house there before the day is over and it's time to have my tacos. Because at Airwindows we have tacos for Thanksgiving. Or at least we have tacos when, oh, look at that. We have some normal horses rather than freaky, weird, strange horses. I do not think I have anything that I can make a, well, hang on. If I can find some cows, ooh, full. If I can find some cows and kill one of them, I can probably get leather with which I can generate, using the snowball technique, saddles. And I feel like maybe that might be cool, so let's do a little journey. There's only pigs and no cows. And llamas. Do llamas drop leather? Those don't drop leather. So let's see. So they're at about 500 or so. You know, an interesting thing about wide base, yes, you can't have it in mono, but also there are limitations to how much of it you can have in stereo. If you have stereo speakers and they are placed very close to each other, one issue with that is that the speakers themselves will cancel each other out, and it will lead to your bass fighting with itself. So it's not just a vinyl issue, it's also a stereo speakers issue. We have lots of wolves here. I think we're getting closer to perfectly normalville. Yeah, I ended up having to stick with the childhood tacos, which is namely like I put Monterey Jack cheese on, but then the tortillas that I'm using are literally just Old El Paso, because I grew up with that being what tacos meant. And the funny thing about it is I have tried soft tacos. I consider them completely delicious, but then I tend to bite the inside of my mouth if eating soft tacos. Something about the shape of them and how they fit in my mouth. It's completely delicious, but I'm then constantly biting myself. And so that's no fun. So I tend not to go for the soft tacos for very long. I will go for them on the grounds if they're delicious, but then I'll stop because I'm like, ow. And I don't seem to be able to master eating the soft tortillas without it like tucking my cheek into my teeth or something. I assume that's probably just a me thing. I don't know what the deal is with that. So where's this land of perfectly normal I speak of? Is this it? Well, there's the 2000. Here is the 0. I guess you swim to it. In fact, it's going to be in the middle of this water. Or maybe it's right here. So I can explain that, Clancy. I will. As soon as I get to the perfectly normal spot of perfectly normalville. I didn't end up able to take any of those horses or make saddles for them, but that's fine. I guess this is perfectly normal town. This is not as abnormal as I had hoped. I thought maybe it was going to be weirder. The reason that subs cancel each other out is because frequencies essentially have physical presence to them. Like if you have a low frequency versus a high frequency, it is to some extent distinguished by the speed of sound. So if you have two really high frequencies at different locations, they're going to do the comb filter thing of interfere with each other and then combine with each other. And really high frequencies, the sound sources might be like only this far away, and you'd still be able to get cancellations. However, if you go down to extremely low frequencies, like say 40 hertz, 30 hertz, 20 hertz, you start getting larger and larger wavelengths as if it was taking up more physical space. When you do that, the space that the wavelengths take up are so great that in order to have the frequencies not cancel each other out, you would have to have the speakers physically far away from each other. In fact, if you have two stereo speakers and you put them right next to each other, even out of phase low mids would end up either negating themselves, or the amount of stereo you can have is based on how far apart the speakers are, and that's what makes the stereo bass not work as far as putting out of phase. Because supposing you have two speakers and you're pointing them literally at each other. Quick check on the wood stove is still going fine. It will burn itself out and I'll have to load it up again. If you have two speakers that are facing each other and they're like an inch apart, and you have a in phase, both of those are opposing each other, and so they're pressurizing the air from both directions. And so they will make a bass frequency. They're just making twice as much cone area, and it's sort of squeezing the area, and it'll come out the sides. They're compressing and rarefacting the sound. But if you have the same situation where you've got two speakers facing each other, but then they are out of phase, imagine them pointing at each other, where if they're facing each other, they're squishing the air between them. And that makes sound. It changes the pressure of the air stuck between them. And the air scoots out the sides, and it makes bass sound. This is in fact something that you can do with designing woofers, where you can have the woofers facing each other and slot loaded, and it will cause higher frequencies not to come out the slot, because all that can come out the slot is sort of the lower pressure waves being created. It really works. It is a thing that actually works real good. But then if you have them out of phase, like stereo bass, where rather than both going together, you're doing stereo bass, they're not matching. If they're simply facing each other, look what happens. They are going essentially back and forth and nothing comes out. They're not creating any pressure. All they're doing is just canceling each other out. The speakers behind them get compressed and then more of a vacuum. I think the word is rarefacted, but nobody uses that word. So you got these boxes that are containing pressure, but the end result, as you have the two woofers facing each other and out of phase, they're just compressing their boxes, which you can't hear, and no sound gets out because it's just what one pushes, the other one pulls, and the other one pushes and the first one pulls. That is another technique that's known as, I'm trying to remember the name of this now. You can, isobaric. You can have two woofers where you've got two chambers, and you got the one box where the woofer is like creating this sound, and then you've got another one which is also creating the same sound, and you've got a little space in between them, and then the outside of the other one over here is where the sound comes out. And so they go the same direction, but what ends up happening is the one facing the outside air, instead of having just a space behind it, it has a space and a woofer that's doing the same thing behind it, so it gets to sort of exaggerate the motion. And that is one way of controlling the resonance of the box, is you've got another speaker in there. That's called a isobaric woofer. It's double woofers doing the job of one, only the cone area of one, but it lets it control what the other woofer is doing. The idea is to make it operate in a more nimble way and also behave as if the box is larger, because the box is actually another woofer, that's feeding more energy in. I think what that would do is be able to make it react quicker and resonate less. And that's what that's about. One of the things that I would like to do with my Console X controller, which I need to start using it before it picks up too much dust. I'm embarrassed that it's got dust on it and I haven't started using it yet, but I've been busy. I've got these 4 sends, and I'd like to have like a couple of reverbs, perhaps a delay, and an instance of, I guess it's Flutter 2 at this stage, an instance of Flutter set to all wet and made to just do like pitch wanders so that it can do a stereo widen effect. I've also got plugins that do that explicitly, but I'm thinking more in terms of using Flutter to do that just for additional wide effects on things that already have some width to them. Because it is a way of doing that. It is a way of getting things to do that. So I'm actually bored with this location too. I guess we'll just wander to different places today. As I finish off my coffee, it's getting on towards 3, so I shouldn't be drinking coffee this late in the day. By all means, continue to ask questions if you want them. I'm going to hang until like 5 or so. Around about 4, I will warm up my oven for my tacos the way I would normally do. And, yeah. So we can absolutely have sound lessons in a Minecraft ambience. Okay, so here's the thought. Would I want to build a house in the middle of that wall? Nah. Yeah, and wide effects can... It's worth checking on mono speakers in part because one of the mono speakers that's most likely to come into your experience is phones. I think it's very common for people to end up auditioning sounds and music and so on literally on phones, which is not only very mid-rangey and tiny, but it's also going to be mono because phones are not big enough to have stereo. I don't know whether anybody ever tries to make them be stereo, but... Okay, so I have a place I could... I've got several ocean places. I've got a positive X2K, which is said to be variety. I can find out what variety means. Ooh, I have a way of checking. Check this out. I've sort of made friends with the Ben Jordan Venus theory axis, and so Ben is doing cool things lately. He's got a video on Twitter bots that's very worth seeing. And Venus theory, his friend, made a post about auditioning things on a little mono speaker. And that is literally what this is. In fact, I can turn it on.
Power on.
And then I can flick a switch. And now my Minecraft, that's not making a sound. Oh, is coming out of this little speaker. Oh, what fun it is to ride on a open sleigh. So yeah, the Venus theory idea of using a itty bitty speaker is so good that I went and got one because I was like, my digital converter, which goes to my Lavry for good monitoring, has this little headphone output. It is a AUX connection for a stereo 1/8 inch, and this little bitty thing that he was talking about, I have literally the same one. Because I looked at it and I was like, I know why that's working out for you. That's actually quite a good choice. You couldn't necessarily get just any random one. That happens to be a good one. It is a itty-bitty single speaker driver from On. I've used a bunch of things from On. It's like the Walmart home electronics department thing. It's going to say off now.
Power off.
Power off. Flip the switch. Go back to the main speakers. But yeah, it's basically the same thing as an Oratone, but in a more modern version, and in a version that can be, USB charged and has its own little battery and stuff and is portable, and there's just lots of stuff to that to like. That doesn't mean that the one that he got, which he specifically said, don't get hung up on getting the exact one that I have. And I was like, oh, no, I'm going to get the exact one that you have. But it's still true that you don't have to get the exact one that he had. Oh, maybe this is the perfectly normal location that I spoke of. Let's see. Signs point to maybe it is. Maybe this is the perfectly normal location. Let's build a little castle here. But yeah, the tiny speaker that's mostly focused on mid-range and is not making any attempt to do anything other than present its little itty-bitty driver with not much else going on is actually a great way of building things. Hear the outside. Give me that back. I hear the snowplow plowing more snow. Because the thing is, a single driver has a sonic quality that's been called coherence. And that's a audiophile term that people in modern parlance don't talk about this. They don't understand what a quality like coherence would mean. But in audiophile terms, what coherence means is you get to have a sound which sounds like it is a coherent, I'm just defining it in terms of itself now. Coherence means a sound with a degree of realism, and it doesn't sound like it's broken up into frequency ranges. That's really kind of the main part of it. Coherence means stuff hangs together and it sounds like a consistent, solid thing, rather than sounding like here's the bass and this is the bass doing its bass stuff, and then here is... Oh, why am I not getting... Funny. Oh, I know why this isn't doing anything. This is the coloring. This is one of those blocks where if I have other colors of block, I can paint with them. So that is not going to create a block for me. But I can create more stacks of it easily enough. And we'll do so now. Making sure that my arrows are available. Here comes my dude carrying a stack of blocks. Now I have 2 stacks. bonked me. And yeah, clean is a good description of a coherent mid-range sound. Let's not get too carried away. That's probably enough blocks of this. We're going to keep some of the natural behavior, but we're going to make there be a ledge that is too high, so only spiders can climb up to this. Hey, talk to you later, Grins. Grins is heading out. So far, so good. That's looking reasonably good. And yeah, a lot of this stuff that I do is explicitly designed to perform well in terms of coherence. I'm quite interested in that quality, even if people don't normally have much of a sense of what it even is. I'm very interested in it. So I'll be trying to maximize on that, and that's one of the reasons why I tend not to go for stuff that like you're oversampling. Oversampling can step on qualities like that in a way that I don't like. So around here there could be a space for a basement. Thinking about what needs to go here. That's probably fine. I'm not sure I like that not being squared off. So maybe traditional Minecraft building technique of hop up and down until we can make it be squared off. Then no fall damage. And another stack, if you please. And now we have a nice little square corner for all of these things. I can lower that down a little bit. I don't know whether there's anything amusing to do over there, but we are going to take this little square and start making like a house out of it or something. So, hey presto, more stone bricks. Lots of stone bricks. All the stone bricks. And we got some mossy cobble. Wait, can I make mossy cobble stone bricks? Nope. Forgot. Several folks had observations and questions and things, so what I'm going to do is answer those. Actually, what I'm going to do is making crafting table and building some stuff. Like, can we make flats? No, but we can make walls. That's cool. I bet I can make flats out of that. And so, while I am in the process of doing it, I want to go over and look at what that is too. But while I've not done that yet, let me answer some of the questions while trying to climb over a mountain and read them. AI music. I think I can beat AI music fairly easily. The thing about AI music is that you are going to find it's like crap quality MP3 in a bunch of ways. And notably, you can generate a bunch of things, but being able to have character in the music is going to be challenging for AI in much the same way that being able to have character in visuals is also challenging for AI. Like, you can make a bunch of stuff. It's possible to do very impressive things, but even though they are very impressive things, there's a generic quality that often, because you're basically making stuff out of general categories. Like, it's making something musical that is also novel is going to be challenging for AIs to do. It's going to have a very easy time, as a rule, making stuff that is like something else that you know about, especially if stuff is very popular. It'll have a fairly easy time of doing that. It'll have a much more difficult time doing something that's authentically original and different. So there's the challenge right there, is you could make AI music. Making something that is novel will be more difficult. Let me continue to read the chat. Somewhere to go learn about how over something you can step on quality. Well, listening to stuff is useful. I grew up listening to vinyl records. Now, that doesn't mean that vinyl, like, I'm with Ben Jordan as far as you shouldn't make new vinyl. I think new stuff should be made in like 2496 and just do whatever it is that you might. There's no point in making vinyl just to do stuff that I can give you plugins to do. Like, use the tools that I have given to produce the same effects that you would get from physically making actual vinyl and doing it properly. But as far as going and buying old vinyl, that can be informative. Just today I was building something that I was making some audio by recording some of my vinyl, because I had gone and bought vinyl records that I thought would be good sampling. And so I went and I got that, and I spent some of the morning sampling some of these. One of them was, what have we here? Okay. One of the things that I recorded off of my record player was a audio fidelity sound effect record. That was a pretty weird thing, to be honest. It was one of those early days of stereo records. The sound quality on it was pretty good, but it was the cheesiest stuff imaginable. But then that still has its uses, because it would have stuff like bizarre skit with a fake Russian guy teaching people how to do Russian roulette because they had a gunshot sound effect. And so they wanted to have the whirring gun barrel sound repeatedly. And then they also wanted to trigger a gunshot sound effect. And then they had the guy going, "Oh, I win," or something. And it was the cheesiest stuff imaginable. There was apparently a record that they had put out which was Sonic Cartoons, and this was from that record. So it was not even the original version of it. It was a cheesy sort of side effect, as it were. Another one was a record from Columbia that was called This I Believe. And it turned out to be all of these different people talking about God. It was like the sort of thing that you would buy through the mail or something. And it was quite a, because it was all these different people who were called upon to specify their, basically take on spirituality. One was Helen Hayes talking about being able to get over being an alcoholic, which I did not actually know that about her, but apparently that was a thing. And it was this very old 1950s recording, a little crackly, a little noisy. And yeah, it was a double album set, and I recorded that as well. I don't think that you should make new records for things like that, but the fact that I was able to get a record and use it for that sort of thing was kind of neat. Yep, on vinyl. On vinyl. There was also like a Chinese professor who spoke English reading out somebody else's translation of Confucius's spiritual feelings, which were interesting, and 1950s take on those things. A lot of this stuff was deeply 1950s take. The whole thing was narrated by Edward R. Murrow, the famous journalist from back in the day. So it was indeed hang on. See that wood stove? Wood stove's not burning as much as it was. I need to boost it up a little bit. I'm going to not be freezing today, so we're going to avoid being freezing today. And this is how I do it. Back onto the catalyst. There we go. You can already see it's starting to go. The temperature right now is probably 0 Celsius or 32 Fahrenheit. That's the easiest way to determine what freezing is okay, in Celsius you know that 0 is freezing. Yeah, I mean the thing about that this guy regarding the using old records and appreciating them versus going to great lengths to make new vinyl records is that Ben Jordan is right about vinyl not being a good format, and you should not be making new ones because it is wasteful. It produces, the carbon cost of it is bad. You're having to use more and more like oil and stuff to make this plastic out of. It's just a very, environmentally it's kind of crap. Like maybe don't. It's maybe not good. And I agree with that assessment completely. So I am not in favor of being like, yay, vinyl, we should all make vinyl records. I'm like, no, you should not. You should make... Boop. I'm not exactly sure how high that went, but we'll find out. Rather than going and making new vinyl records, do like 2496. Make audio properly using modern techniques. And if you need the sound, we can contain the sound of vinyl within 2496 if we do it properly. And there's the rub. Like, doing it properly is non-trivial. But, ooh, Alex, you have access to a lot of vinyl records at work? Cool. Capture them, throw them on like archive.org or something. That seems cool. I'm kind of starting out my concept of what is initially nothing more than a box, but we'll see whether we can't make something entertaining out of it. That's the right height, I think. Here comes the migrant music again. Yep, that is the correct height. Gonna be bedtime in a moment. Minecraft-wise, that is. Which means I have to put my bed down. See, one of the things I'm observing about sampling and working with records, because like my modular here my modular here uses a bunch of samplers. They are radio musics, and those are like 12-bit sample playback toys. They have a neat sound to them. But whenever you're using samples of things like old records or whatever, like those, the department store stuff, the Kresge stuff, that ends up having an interesting quality to it whenever you use it, because the whole character of that era's recording technology comes through quite strikingly. In a way where that becomes quite a worthwhile thing, in fact. Okay, now it has box. What shall we do with box? Well, one thing is put floors and ceilings and things in. But yeah, the thing about this really vintage record stuff is that you will get this, and coherent is a perfectly good word for it, this penetrating mid-range quality where there's this real physicality to it. And it's quite easy to get that out of these really primitive recording techniques. There are people, Robert Crumb, the artist for one, who are super into 78s. Not just your regular thing, we're talking full-on 78s, because they feel that the 78s have that much more impressive, that mid-range quality, the immediacy that you get out of it can really be observable. You can really pick up on it. And that's a worthwhile thing. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. Do I have a off by 1 error? Kinda. So it's not a perfect square. That's fine. Not worried about that. We could leave that, because one of the things I was going to do was make some stone brick wall. Well, first I have to put down a crafting table. And sometimes your choices with that make it easier. Stone brick wall? Stone brick wall? No? Sticker. Well, we can do that. We can't do a stone brick wall, sadly. How about pillars? Nope. I can't do a stone brick wall, I'm telling you. That said, we could do a mossy stone wall. It'll be a little extra color. And in so doing, we can also generate some more of those mossy stones while we're at it. So there's one stack. There's 2 stacks. Gotta love Snowball for this. And there's 3 stacks. And that'll be a start. I can always make more. So how many of these mossy stones do I get? 60 walls, okay. So if we built that, and then we built these, it's a fairly clean arrangement, and I'm also going to be wanting to put some glass in so you can actually see out. Whether that goes above these walls is a fair question, and I do not know the answer right off the top of my head. So I feel like I'm going to want... Also, I am walling myself in, which probably isn't what I'm going to want to keep, but for now, that'll be fine. Do I have any glass? No, but I can go and get some. I'll just need to do a little building. Can you make a mossy stone furnace? No, you cannot. Humph. Ooh, worse than that, I can't make mossy stone with a silk touch. I can make cobble with a silk touch pick because this only gives me regular stone. So, let's see, and is it becoming nighttime? Fairly close to it. Actually, not at all close to it. What am I talking about? So, first order of business, let's grab some wood, and I can get cobble out of a wood pick. Gotcha. Final one. Give me those wood planks. I'm also going to have some saplings that I can start planting so I can get wood back again. Three at the moment. So let's see. Steak. Wood pick. Eat myself away with this. E. Go over here and use it to get myself some cobble off the top of this area. It'll take a while, but it'll work. So yeah, I mean, the thing about mid-range is that if you get mid-range really right, it'll communicate through damn near anything. We used to have to make stuff work on a clock radio. Yes, to have to make stuff work on an Oratone. Right now, you have to make stuff work on a phone. But it's a very similar, like a phone is a very similar sound to a clock radio, honestly. For those of you who are not old enough to have had a clock radio. Waking up to the local radio station. Mind you, I suppose it's the same if you're using your own music. Hi, random stray block. Do I need this many? Probably not. Oh, surely not. I don't care. This is the Minecraft way. Derping around, using up your tools, chopping things down. And I am short on literal cobble because my good tools won't produce it. So if I want to make the thing that I can make glass with out of sand, which I can go and get some of that as well while I'm at it. Yeah, I saw somebody on Reddit was griping is putting it strongly. They were anxious because they were like, I'm losing my hearing. I can't hear over 15K. Can I still work? And of course the answer is yes, absolutely you can. But your work might not be as high frequency oriented as the next guy. Because you will need to focus on the mid-range that you can hear. Yeah, that block destroyer is in fact a hard clipper. It clipped all the blocks off. So let's see, here's my cobble. Make a couple of furnaces. Actually, I could make that be my floor. I could just make a kajillion furnaces in a number of ways. But right now, not worried about that. Right now, and you know I really don't need the sword. I don't use the sword. Boop, boop. And splashing about. Need to keep an eye on the time because I'm going to want to get my dinner ready, but not just yet. I could take this entire sandbar down, but I don't think I'm going to need to. But I'll tell you one thing I am going to need. Yeah, there's my little box off in the distance. That'll work. I think I'd like to get a little bit of coal. If I can find one block, I can have all the coal I like. So let's see about that. Speak of the devil, look at that. Thank you. Was there any more? Nope. And where'd that dirt go? Here it is. Back to the cube. Why is this here? Missed. Why is that there? Well, it's not any longer. Boop. Okay, so here's your problem. Now I have coal ore, and that's not actual coal either. So I need to make yet another wood pick just to get coal. And I used the previous one up completely. No matter, we'll get there. Oh, but I'll tell you something else. We'll make a little path of coal to mine up. More snowball madness. Does appear to work. It'll take a little while, but that's okay. We got all the time. And And the thing about this, I don't even need to generate any of those mobs, because if I can make a coal block, I think this will work. Oh, look, I still have the coal ore. It didn't use any of it up. Well, now we got it taken care of. Making a big old stack of coal. All the coals. Because with this, I can use the good pickaxe, even if it is silk touch, because it's already a coal block. Probably don't need this much. It is also 3:30, so we're heading on towards the time when it's start getting my tacos ready time. But we're not quite there yet. I'm not sure I have a Purist Console 3. Are you sure that that's a thing? I feel like I'm not sure I have a Purist Console 3. And now that I have a half stack of that, oh, here I am not really quite knowing what I'm doing. I have a full stack. Except for I don't. No, yes I do. Boop. And now that I have a full stack, I have two. That is, of course, very inefficient, but what the hey. It will go for longer. And that's going to start getting me the glass that I need. Although I am also wondering, do we want to go for black glass? That might be cool. Yeah, I don't even remember whether I have a Purist Console 3. I feel like I have the 1 and the 2, but I'm not sure if I have 3. I suppose since you're invoking it, it must exist, but I'm not completely certain. Got your little free range farming here. Oh, he's stuck. He can't go. Oh, yes, he can. Look at that. Mr. Pathing right here. Look at him. Now, one thing that I might actually find handy, I could actually use this diamond sword for. I believe I saw squid. Here's zombie dude. Where are you hiding? Over here? Why, look at that. Caves. Caves lit by lava. So this can be the official cave system. I'm not sure it goes any farther than that. There's the dark overshadowed area. Globus Hystericus, I stand corrected. Clearly I must have a Purist Console 3. I had forgotten I made it. Must have been a little while ago. Now this is going along okay. Oh. I am hungry in Minecraft. Nom on some of that food. Oh. So, I feel like maybe that can go away. And I'll figure something else out about this. Like, I don't know, that could be the entryway. What do you think of that? We'll make a little stairwell. And where's those fence posts? Here's the fence posts. So that could be a look. Got the glass taken care of. That doesn't work because that's coal. Let's try this. Got there. Oh, I used it all up though. I need to go and find another squid. Can we find another squid? Well, not right there. I bet you there's one out here in the ocean somewhere. There's one. I could have duplicated that and not had to go harvest another laying squid. Oh, did I not? That will float back up eventually, but not just yet. Sploosh, out of the water. Oh, okay, that didn't work. Well, I'm over water, so here's what's going to happen. I will spawn back in and take a big dive. Whee! Sure enough. The server does not like what I'm able to do with this snowball madness. It becomes very confused, even though I'm pretty sure I've got flying enabled. But the stuff I'm able to do here, it qualifies as invalid moves. And who can blame it? Yep, there we go. I could do with making a chest, I think. I do have enough spruce wood. I've got some planks. We can do with the chest. Throw some stuff in there. Hello, I'm Bonito. And so now here's the question, what kind of windows do we want to build here? I do have a Silk Touch pickaxe, so I can take them back down again. And that's going to come in handy. And I'm carrying them, so. And that's not the pattern. That is the pattern. Firstly, oh, okay, so that's kind of tacky. I lose the smoothness of the wall, but it does let me look at it, but it doesn't go up to that. Although if it was a solid block, it totally would. By the same token, yeah, so that's not a win. So if instead I build off of that, I can most certainly make a big old picture window. I just don't get to do it up against those fence posts, and in fact that also looks kind of naff. I mean, it's fine. It's fine, I just might want to replace that with something else. Oop. Oh, that is an axe. I was thinking that was going to look nicer than it did. However, I could make a course of it, and then that would be... Well, no, it wouldn't, would it? Hang on. If I put the glass over it, it makes it have all posts. What if I put the glass under it? So here we have these. Okay, that's interesting. Now, if I can get more mossy cobble, and I do have a bunch of that, then I could do a lower passage like that, or just have glass going straight to the floor, which would look like this. So I don't get to actually combine the fences and the glass in every which way, but I can do this, which is a very neat looking thing. I don't think I can do half slabs. Look at this, still burning. Oh, it's not going to last for long. It keeps going for a long time, which is nice because it's a visual effect as well. It's the hearth. I got my wood stove going. I might as well have a wood stove going here as well. So now let's see. So I can make a door out of this, and that actually looks pretty nice. In fact, may or may not be able to do something amusing with that. But it is actually bedtime, so time to do that. And then I will continue with my little goofing around with this stuff. Hey, come back here, you. So there's a full stack of panes. Yeah, I like having the wood stove. It's out at the moment, but I can cook more stuff in it. Wonder what happens if you try to cook a mossy stone in it. Literally nothing, okay. Nope. But I bet I can make a charcoal. In fact, I've just turned the stove on. Boop. That would make charcoal, but now we just have the hearth going for another little while. If I had lava buckets, it would go for even longer, but this is going pretty good. So, I could probably make solid blocks in the middle of that. Well, I'm going to be making tacos soon enough. It's almost time for me to turn on the stove for that. Also, look at this here. So if I take those down, and then I had solid glass blocks, which I don't have many of them right now, but I can. Come at me. Ooh, he's fast. Ooh, now I have a potato. Cool, I can cook potatoes in this stove. Heck yeah. I can also duplicate them. First things first. I have the one potato, so we're going to use those. Those would be delicious. Oh man, that one's even faster. 32 blocks. I don't think I really need a full stack, but it's going to fit within my inventory conveniently. So now I have a full stack. You know, I could plant a potato. I don't have to generate a potato. We could grow potatoes. We could be like normal Minecrafters. How about it? Doesn't that seem nice? We'll derp around acting like normal Minecrafters for a change. Doing things like planting spruce saplings and tilling the soil. Oh, wait. That doesn't have to be that. We can make that with cobbles. I'm not yet on the steel economy, but we're getting there. Lovely cobblestone hoe. We're going to plant that potato. You know, if I had to go for favorite food, I would probably go with pizzas. There's a local place here. I'm looking forward to showing it to assuming it might not work, but I would like to show this to a plugin developer who's moving into my town. Guy is very cool. His work is favored by Ben Jordan, among other people. And let's plant the potato, see if it works. Might just pop right out of the ground, but it did plant, so that's probably good for now. I should make a bridge rather than going over this way. With a bit of luck, I will grow a potato that way. Oh, and I forgot to plant the trees. Let's plant the trees. Yeah, like I should have a bridge from over here to that area. Rather than just derping around like this. Planting trees out in the middle of there. Yeah, I'll grow more potatoes. That'll be food for when I'm sick of making steaks. Where was I at? I had made a full stack of black stained glass. Let's see what this looks like. Oh, okay, I see a concern. It looks nice enough, but it doesn't work with the fences, does it? Oh, hey. 32 cobblestone wall? Let's make it 64. Come at me, bro. 64 cobblestone wall. Yeah, there's a local pizza place that I'm really fond of. It used to be owned by a Greek lady, Mama Eleni, who had to retire for age and health reasons. But some family members ended up buying it, and they are continuing to make pizza every bit as good as it was when Mama Eleni was running it. They have a giant, beautiful mural inside the restaurant. And they make this pizza, which is, I fear, probably not very healthy. Because I think it's kind of salty and kind of fatty and a variety of things that tend to also go along with it being absolutely delicious. So no complaints there. I am all about this particular kind of pizza. There was just one stained glass pane right there. It's okay, we'll make more. There, like I can't speak for all of this, although this will bridge this gap nicely. Just no form of it will actually fill in this hole, but on the other hand, I can shoot through this hole, so that's kind of cool. And a couple more stone bricks, because that's where the glass panes go. Oop. Give me that back. Silk touch. Usually I build with, oh, come on you. That is not the right place. Usually I build with black stained glass and like birch. But this is a different kind of aesthetic to go with. And I'm going to see how it works. Could put a rim around there if I wanted. Kind of like that. You know, I would like to be in New York and appreciate the pizza there. That is another place where you can get really good pizza. Okay, more mossy cobble of this variety. That's actually a cool looking effect, although I'm not sure if I want to keep it. Let's find out. See, it makes pillars. And I have not yet made the roof. Oh, what is this supposed to be? This is just me derping around. It's been 9 months since I played games, so this is me playing games once more. The specific game is a form of Minecraft, but it's a weird form of Minecraft where you can do things like this. Stack of stained glass, snowball with rotten flesh above it, random zombie that appears and comes from far away to attack me, and arrows and snowballs. Very effective method of getting even very tough enemies. Although, you know, if I had spawned a skeleton, I'd be in big trouble that way, because the high level skeletons that I spawned this way are extremely intimidating. Although they don't hit that hard. I'm going to show you just for laughs. So I spawn skeletons from bones. And then I have a diamond sword, which will probably work for this. And let's make more black stained glass blocks while we're at it, because they are also going to drop the block. They're also going to be trying to hit me with the black stained glass blocks. Watch this. Seem to be moving kind of quick, huh? He's not as good as the zombie, though, as far as pathfinding is concerned. In fact, he's swimming in the pond. Watch when he starts moving, assuming he does. Come at me. He's going to try to come at me. He's having a little trouble. See, if he was able to get onto the ground and move, he would be moving at roughly the speed of light. But he's not, so. And he is also not very sturdy. But boy, are they quick. That's the skellies. I have played a version of this game with random edgelord kids and found that they did indeed get... Oh, this is a tall tree, isn't it? And found that they did really get into using techniques like that to just make life miserable for everyone. And though it was fairly amusing, I still tired of it. Boop. But yeah. Hey, you know, one of my friends, Terry Manning, who's not a super close friend, yeah, the Terry Manning that did ZZ Top and Led Zeppelin, is a photographer and was very... He went to Cuba and photographed cars and things. Yeah. So let's see, what was I at? What was I doing? Oh, I picked up a spruce. Something I could do is go down here and pick more of the drops up and then plant them. I wonder how many more saplings I'll get out of that. One doesn't like to waste the saplings necessarily, but I'm sure those are fine. That's the thing in this particular variation, this particular mod. As long as I have one of anything, I'm good. That don't work, but this will. Keep the home fires going. So let me see, where were we at? Well, one of the things I could do here is start using the stone brick slabs to make a floor. And the floor will be somewhat hypothetical because it's not going to look particularly normal, is it? Not that there's anything wrong with that. Be a sort of slot around the outside edge of the floor. But you know, because there's a slot around the outside edge of the floor, I can also make into a cool staircase. Okay, that works. You can do that. My wood stove is dwindling, and it's also a little bit past 4, so this is a time for me to load up the wood stove one last time. Without as large of logs, I think. Oh, here's a good one. See, what makes this a good log is that it is not very thick. It's kind of slim, so this will burn its way straight through. I'm trying to burn the wood off properly so that it doesn't leave a lot of weird charcoal and wood. So I should be able to do that. It will be wood in here for my weird south of the border taco Mexican dinner. I'm not putting on the damper because in this case, let's leave it on so that we can see the fire light up. And then while it's doing that, I'm going to go and start up my my regular cooking stove so that I can make my tacos. Right back. Okay, So in about 50 minutes or so, taco time. And for now, wood stove's going well. And here we are. I bet in Minecraft it's probably cold. I mean, probably. Hang on. I know what I'm doing. Probably nighttime. Sure enough. Yeah, you can. That is not nearly all the wood that I drug in. That's like half a week worth of dragging in all the wood. I'm now reading the chat commentary on different kinds of pizza and how that's working. Oh, hang on a second. What if I made this a wood staircase? How would that be? Maybe that would be cool. Shall we have a wood staircase? I only have this very dark spruce wood, but there's nothing so wrong with that. Could use that. And when I say staircase, that's probably enough. I'm thinking some variations on the theme. So let's see. If I wanted to be a staircase but be like this, what would it be like? We still have the stone floor there, but the idea is to make a staircase. Oh, for heaven's sake. Sir. No. Bad creeper, no biscuit. The question is, what would be good there? Maybe I can do a more interesting shape? Or you can step taller than that. Like that technically works. That's a staircase. Can you have a spiral staircase? Let's find out. Sort of floating in space spiral staircase. You sure can. So what if, and I could probably make posts that would serve as a kind of structural looking thing. Once I made one of those that was a diagonal series of pillars. That was quite something. In that way of quite something that is like, yeah, just start around with Minecraft. No biggie. So it's an amusing looking staircase. One that I could also come up with something else amusing to do. If I make fence posts, will they then, like, what's it gonna take? Is that a gate? Nope, that is a fence. I was looking for something like that. Add a few more. Now I have 9. Let's start seeing what we can make happen with the fence motif. Well, that makes logical sense. Oof. What happens when we up? Sure enough. See, I can make a sort of structure to climb up. What if I interleaved one of these in an unexpected place? Or indeed more than one of those in an unexpected place. Is that pretty? No, because it doesn't fill in the gap, does it? On the other hand, that's a little amusing. So then, if we assume that that is some kind of part and the fence post goes through there and joins on. It lightens it up a little bit. Okay, that's somewhat amusing. Maybe not everything I had hoped for, but my stove is warming up. Oh, hang on. Wouldn't it be interesting if there was a way to, like, put a chest in there or something? Let's try. Can you open a chest through a fence post? I'm going to find out. Unorthodox chest technique. Then when I'm done, I need to go and reload the chest again. But sure can. I bet I could stack 2 chests that way. But it stops looking as realistic if you do, so let's not. And let's put those away while we're at it. Do the ink sac. I passed up the chance to get more gunpowder because that's the drop of the creeper that was out there, but that's gone. I'm questioning this. But that's fine. I can question that if I want. we're at it, we're going to place some more of the stone brick slabs. Do I have more stone brick slabs? It's a convenient place to go and grab stone brick slabs. Now we have lots. I suppose in theory I could be using a more appropriate building material rather than rocks overhead. But we're going to assume that these are load bearing and work fine. Clearly no problem with floating stone floors. And that's what Minecraft is all about. Oh, can't do that. Can't do that. Oh no, I need to make a roof. But the rain will stop when I sleep. And it did. So I need that much space to get through. But now we up here. And that can be... Well, among other things, I was going to see what it looked like to continue this motif up here. And what does it look like if I do this? I could continue that through the top. That might be neat. I could echo that motif over there, although I do wish to go downstairs and see what that looks like under here where it has added a feature. But that's probably a feature which is fine. I'm thinking I can deal with that. That's fine. Also, I got all these stone brick floors. So this might be a way of extending this interestingly. I could even extend it this way and then this becomes a fishing hole. How's that? So that would involve those going away. And then that becomes the fishing perch and now we have that. And if I fly a little bit, or rather a lot, boom, I can land there. Pff, I can put those in the wrong place like a derp. How about that one? Is that one in the right place? Yes, it is. And I can reach this, so I can put that in the right place. I can't jump over that, but I can go around it. And I can fall down and go boom. Up we go. Well, that was weird. Why did it swerve like that? Mysterious. This is more difficult than I had anticipated. Okay, I gotta 2 blocks over. And blocks over 1, 2, boop. I'll make them all double tall while I'm at it. It's an aesthetic. Whee. Don't know what I'm going to do about that, but ooh, a bunch of Jonathan has a lot of thoughts. Yep, same here. That's understandable. Tricky. Tricky, definitely tricky. Good luck and wish us luck, man. Sometimes the thing you do is hang in and do the best you can. And I certainly try to contribute in my way by just doing, I don't know, my stuff. What would happen if we tried to make that? Okay, that's kind of cool looking. It's clean. We can't really do much with it, but we can do this. Now, the purpose of that, I couldn't tell you, but there it is. Got a sort of trace work there. We could do another one up top too, but I don't see a reason to do that. Boop. Then we go there, we can go and chop another tree. We've got about a half an hour in stream. We've got our wood stove going nicely. That's nice to have. I should remember to do that if I do streams. When I have to run the stove because it is winter, then that can be a nice thing to add. How about maybe we can have a bed from up here, although it might end up looking a little goofy. Or a lot goofy. Where would it be good? Here's where you come up, so how about here? Up, I have to stack it up a little bit higher to make a little dice. I can put a bed on that. Oh, that makes that weird. Let's not. See? And then you lose both of them. So let's not. Tell you what. Give me that. We can make a raised area for bed. And I tell you something else, I can put a light in a way that will be handy. I just need an extra one of these, and we know how to do that by going into the chest. It is a zombie, yes, yes. The zombies have much better tracking than the skellies do. Oh, and now he has to go all the way around again. Actually, I don't have to do that way. I have a Silk Touch pick. Watch this. Mine. Although my concern now is, can you put a bed on top of glowstone? I wonder. I am dubious. I'm not sure you can. But I could surround the bed with glowstone. Let's find out. You cannot. You cannot put a bed on top of glowstone, but I know what you can do, which is make this lovely with the glowstone. Then stone slabs. It's getting dark in Minecraft land. And I bet you could get out of bed next to glowstone. But we can certainly... Oops. Give me that. Put a bed on top of this. So that's one way of doing that. And you can even get out of the bed, which is handy. Oh, could I put a glowstone where that crosses? I bet I could. Can put glowstones on the top of those posts too. Although that will be slightly more complicated and tricky. Okay, we have like floating glowstone now. That's not exactly what I had in mind. It kind of works. It makes it another decorative feature. Here we are with the wonderful floating glowstones and rocks. Yay! Do I in fact like that, or is that just dumb? Maybe I like it. What's it look like downstairs now? Well, we've got glowstone in the roof, which may or may not be illuminating things properly. I can go and chop some trees while I'm at it. I never did make that bridge. And we still have the XP orb from the creeper. It's a very dark corner. Although strangely we seem to be fine with it. That's not causing a lot of problems that I can see. We got a little more in terms of like firewood or whatever, assuming we're burning spruce. That looks basically cool. Ooh, here's a thought. Stone brick bridge. It doesn't look like this is illuminating everything, but in theory I think it should be. I think it's illuminating. What if that is only a upper? Do I know what fractal block world is? I'm not sure if I do. No. So if I go back up here, but this time I place these blocks on the top part, then we have exposed glowstone on both sides. I can see quite easily that this is illuminating this area. It's a little hard to tell whether it's illuminating down here too. In fact, it looks like maybe it's not. Oh, rather than having that there, I can have the... Oop. There, useful things. Useful things. Speaking of useful things... Saplings. I'm just going to plant these in a line. I've always harvested trees after planting them in lines. It's been one of my traditions in Minecraft is I make these tree lines and get an axe and chop them down as they go. So glowstone on top of those. Indeed, I could have more of those spikes. That might look cool. I have this weird arrangement of stuff, the way this goes. Oh. Gotta love the snowball madnesses. Interesting. So original concept presumably twisted in a different way. Neat. And now, let's see, do we have more? Just barely. Well, I can make more. That's more than enough. Boop, 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 boop. We got the nice handy bed. I am skeptical about these. Really don't know about this one. Don't actually need the light. Very curious whether these lights illuminate upstairs and downstairs, but technically they should be able to. That doesn't necessarily get you much, though, if it doesn't. May very well not. And I could put other spikes from there. I could put spikes downwards from there for all the good it would do, which is not very much. Yeah, don't care about that. Birds. So, 1, 2. Up, fall down. Go back up again. Two. And let's also start placing these. Boop. Man, I should make stairs up there. It's tiresome. One thing about it, I can go over here. Oh, also, I am needing noms both in real life and in Minecraft. Well, that didn't work. But that did. 1, 2. Got that. Step back a bit. Nope. Nope. Boy, having all of the trouble with this stuff. Gosh. Just all of the trouble with this. Well, I might not get back to this for another 9 months, so let's get this done now. Ha. I bet you I can. We'll have a roof of lights. That's what we'll have. Maybe I should just put in a stairwell. No, no, no. Boy, can I just have a bunch of dirt or something, for heaven's sake? I can! What am I talking about? I've got a bunch of dirt. Well, first things first, let's place my bunch of dirt, because clearly it's the first thing I need to do. Climb onto that from here. Oh, nope. But this. There, got there. And then let's just place lots of dirt everywhere and make it real easy and simple. And then let's remove the dirt when I'm done. slightly roofed. This is the way to do this full of stuff. Oh, here's the time to find out whether it's illuminated down here. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay. You, sir, are not welcome. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Ground level just slightly lit up. This level is lit up even more. And then let's go here and start placing lights. Get over there. Ha, got it. And let's see. Gotcha. I gotcha. And I need to get over there. Haha, gotcha. Ooh, the corner ones could be lower. That might be cool. Shall we try to make that happen? Ooh, down we fall. Ow. I wasn't even using the flying technique for that one. Like that. No. Frustrating. I will get this done before the end of the night or before my tacos are ready. I can get this one at least. I'm going to try to not dump my stuff all over the place. So we got that. I need to get that. Where the peaceful Minecraft music plays and soothes. So 4 dirt block. Haha. And then I'm going to want to go and see what that looks like at some point. Oh, down we go. Did I drop anything? Doesn't look like it. And one more of these, and got 3 of these. Takes 2 to bridge this gap, and then if I put 1 in the center, I can't because it takes 2 to bridge that gap. So, cool. So before dawn, that is what it looks like. Coming in for a landing. I came in for a landing. Woot. One more dirt block. And a few more dirt blocks. I think we're done with those. And pass the night. It's 4:51. It's almost taco time. Oh. Got a little more dirt to clean up. Yeah, I'm fairly happy with what this has become, such as it is. I could get even freakier by how many of these do I still have? Oh, I can have as many as I want. What am I talking about? Corners. 4, 2 times 4 is 8. I have 10. So we could, but I'm going to need more than that, aren't I? Okay. I could do that. If I did that, I can continue it downwards to this, and then it'll link in an interesting way. And this is now a floating block which is balanced on the point of this corner. But it looks pretty cool. Does it look cool from the outside, though? Yeah. Yeah, that looks pretty cool from the outside. Okay. Let's continue that, which is going to mean making more of these. How many more? I don't know. As long as they're not completely out of mossy cobble, that should be good. Oh, I'm not even close to being out of mossy cobble. Here we go. I have a full stack I can duplicate. So, same deal. Same deal here. This time it fell over. That's fine. I'll go back and get them later. And lastly, the final corner. Should be careful doing this because that's how I get kicked off the server, by moving around too weirdly. There we are. So we got a stone bricky thing with these weird pillars that are actually smaller than a Minecraft block. It's dithering! It's dithering in Minecraft's construction. Woot. That's a silly concept, but mine own. Yep. Looking pretty tight to me, too. I could stretch out those ones on the top to be even taller, but you know, it's probably fine. Thank you for your input, sheep. I'm going to nom on a stake and go and cut down some more of that spruce over there, because we got more spruce now. Weird how monsters are not spawning in there. Like, I don't get why monsters are not spawning in this dark area. I shouldn't say it. One's going to spawn and jump on me. And I'm still not growing potatoes. Come on. I planted that potato for a reason. It dropped out of a zombie. Maybe that's why I don't want to plant it. Then, what have we got for... We've got the stone bricks. We've got stone bricks, we've got half slabs, and even more half slabs. All the half slabs in the world. Time, I think, 2. Oop. Well, this is fine, but these need to be twice as tall. And then down we go and over to here. How easy is it going to be to place those? Well, I can get a start anyway. And I'm going to want to lower it down a little bit, so, but maybe not just yet. And then it needs to be one of those air bridges. Oh, hey, that worked. I didn't expect that to work as well as it did. Doop, doop, doop. And there's our bridge. We'll just extend it right over here. And set it into the ground. Oh, huh. Underground waterfall. Apparently we can keep going down. Get to a whole little cave in here if we want one. Doesn't go anywhere though. So maybe not to bother. Just something to keep an eye out for in case the creepers blow things up. There we are. Doop, 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 doop. And here we are with our cozy hearth for this weird little house. It's difficult to get into. And as the sun sets, and I balance over this area here, it is 5:02, and that means it's time for me to go and have my tacos. And say goodnight. And so that's what I will do. I'll catch you folks next week. And I feel like I might go for a Stonefire comp this coming weekend. Because I mentioned somebody was asking for it. And instead I dropped the new Saturator because that was astonishing. But a person asked for Stonefire comp. So I think maybe I'll do that this coming week. And I will talk to you folks later. Bye-bye. And happy Thanksgiving, anybody who celebrates that. I am going to celebrate Thanksgiving with tacos, which is the most American thing I could possibly do. Laters.